Pack your bags, we're headed on a big old ride, with dreams of sunlit shores and the open skies, from the hills of Cyprus to where the world collides.
Welcome to A Deep Dive, listeners. This time, we're taking a trip back in time. 2006 to be exact.
2006. I feel nostalgic already.
And what better way to relive it than through a blog post?
A digital time capsule. I love it.
Right. So this deep dive, it's all about Mandy and Rob. This couple, they were on the verge of a big move, Cyprus. But before they swapped those drizzly days for, well, more sun than you can shake a stick at.
I can practically feel the Mediterranean sun already.
Me too.
Yes.
But first, they decided to take one last epic road trip through their homeland, starting with North Wales and Snowdonia.
A fitting farewell tour, wouldn't you say? To soak in the landscapes they knew so well before venturing into the unknown.
Absolutely. So they set off from Cardiff in their trusty car, heading north on the A470. They even nicknamed it, get this, the Yellow Brick Road.
Oh, I like him already. That name just screams adventure, doesn't it?
Doesn't it, though? And as they journeyed along this Yellow Brick Road, they passed through these quintessential Welsh towns, Brecon, Builth Wells, Newtown, each one whispering tales of history and echoing with the spirit of Wales.
You know, the A470 is often called the spine of Wales, and for good reason. It cuts right through the heart of the country, offering these incredible glimpses of everything from those rugged, majestic mountains to those tranquil, almost mystical valleys.
It's like every bend in the road reveals a new landscape, a new story waiting to be uncovered.
And even just driving through those towns you mentioned, you get this sense of their character, their history, their own unique stories etched into the very stones.
That's true. And speaking of stories, their first major stop takes them to a place that sounds like it's straight out of a legend.
Oh, do tell?
Beddgelert. Ever heard of it?
Oh, Beddgelert. You can't mention that name without thinking of Gelert, the faithful hound.
Right. The legend of Gelert, it's intertwined with that village, adding this whole other layer of atmosphere. And speaking of atmosphere, Mandy and Rob, they got the full Snowdonia experience.
Let me guess. Mist.
Oh, you know it. They were so excited to see those breathtaking views, but
the mountains had other plans.
Exactly. A thick mist rolled in, covering everything.
Ah, yes. The mountains and valleys of Snowdonia are famous for their unpredictable weather, you know. Especially the mist. It can descend so quickly, blanketing everything in this eerie silence. It's almost like stepping into another world, isn't it?
That's exactly how they described it. This otherworldly feeling, like something out of a dream. And imagine driving in that.
Oh, I can imagine. A little exciting, I'd say.
They said they could only catch glimpses of the mountains through the mist, like fleeting shadows. But eventually, the mist parted. And what did they see but Caernarfon Castle?
Now that's a sight that would make even the thickest mist worthwhile. It's an incredible feat of engineering.
Yeah, it really is. And of course, no trip to Caernarfon Castle would be complete without
crossing the Menai Strait. That bridge is practically an icon in itself, isn't it? Connecting the mainland to Anglesey.
It is, and they were clearly impressed, mentioning this amazing blend of beauty and engineering, which, funnily enough, also perfectly describes their next stop, the Elan Valley.
The Elan Valley. It's a landscape of contrasts, isn't it? You have this sense of serenity, this pristine natural beauty, but then you have these incredible dams and reservoirs, these feats of engineering that just take your breath away.
Right. It's like walking into a landscape that's both wild and orchestrated at the same time. And here's the kicker. This valley, it's not just a pretty face. It's actually vital for a city miles away.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. Birmingham, right. The Elan Valley Aqueduct. It's amazing how this seemingly tranquil valley in the heart of Wales plays such a crucial role in the life of a bustling city hundreds of miles away.
It's incredible. And it just goes to show, even in the most serene, the most picturesque settings, you can find these incredible stories of human ingenuity. You just have to know where to look. It really does make you think about the hidden connections, you know, like this picture-perfect valley in mid-Wales supplying water to a bustling city miles away. But let's get back to Mandy and Rob. So while they were in the Elan Valley area, they took a little detour. A detour to a place that's, well, infamous, to say the least. Any guesses?
Let me see. A detour in the Elan Valley area. Could it be?
Oh, you know it.
Llanfair Gogorich Rumdrumble Lantisili Gogogosh?
The one and only. That name still trips me up. I can just picture them standing on that train platform looking up at that sign, completely awestruck.
As you would be. They mentioned in their blog how the train station itself was quite modest, almost dwarfed by this monster of a name.
I know, right? It's like the sign is the main attraction. But it's all part of the charm, isn't it? That's what makes it so memorable.
Absolutely. It's a celebration of language, of place, of all things quirky.
It really is.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, for those of us who aren't fluent in Welsh, what does this masterpiece of a name actually mean?
Well, get ready for this. It translates to St. Mary's Church in the hollow of the White Hazel near a rapid whirlpool and the Church of St. Tacilio of the Red Cave.
Wow, they really weren't messing around when they named that place, were they? It's like a whole geography lesson packed into one word, or should I say 58 letters.
Exactly. It's amazing how place names can hold so much history, so much meaning. In a way, it's like this place is a living, breathing testament to the connection between language and landscape.
You know, Mandy and Rob have a knack for finding these places that just spark your curiosity, and their next stop is no different. From the tongue-twisting village of Llanfair PG, Gelert, Rorn, Drabalanti, Cilio, Gogach, they head to the coast to Barmouth.
Ah, Barmouth. Now we're talking classic seaside charm. Those rugged cliffs, the Victorian architecture, the sound of waves crashing against the shore. It's idyllic.
Isn't it? And what a contrast, right? From the mountains and valleys of Snowdonia to the dramatic coastline of Cardigan Bay. Talk about a diverse landscape.
Wales is full of surprises like that. You think you know what to expect, and then it throws something completely different at you. It's what makes it so special.
So true. Now, they don't go into a ton of detail about their time in Barmouth, but they do mention those classic seaside elements. Golden sand, the Irish Sea stretching out before them. You can practically feel the sea breeze and taste the salt air, can't you?
I can almost hear the seagulls. It sounds like they had one of those quintessential British seaside days. You know, the kind where the weather is as much a part of the experience as the scenery itself.
Exactly. Because what's a trip to the British seaside without a little bit of unpredictable weather, right? It sounds like they really soaked up the atmosphere of Barmouth. Did they mention staying there, or did they move on?
It seems they had one last stop in them before calling it a night. They headed back inland towards mid-Wales to a town nestled on the banks of the River Wye Rhaeadr.
Rhaeadr. Wait a minute. Haven't we heard that name before?
You have a good memory. Rhaeadr is often called the gateway to the Elan Valley. It's a popular starting point for exploring those impressive dams and reservoirs we were talking about earlier.
Oh, right. It all connects. They were practically doing a loop around this incredible feat of engineering without even realizing it. Talk about a full circle moment. And what did they get up to in Rhaeadr itself?
Their description is short but sweet. They mention an evening stroll along the River Wye, just as the sun was beginning to set. It sounds incredibly peaceful.
It does, doesn't it? The gentle sound of the river, the soft evening light, the fresh air. After a day of exploring, it sounds like the perfect way to unwind.
And perhaps a fitting way to end their Welsh adventure.
You're right. Their blog post ends there, leaving us to imagine them driving off into the sunset. Memories of misty mountains, charming seaside towns, and that unforgettable train station name lingering in the air.
It's almost as if they vanished into the very landscapes that captivated them, leaving us to ponder the deeper meaning of their journey.
And that's where things get really interesting, wouldn't you say? Because this wasn't just a road trip. It was a farewell tour, a way of connecting with their roots before embracing a whole new life on the sunny shores of Cyprus. It really does make you wonder, doesn't it? What were they hoping to find on this road trip, this farewell tour of Wales? Was it about etching those familiar sights into their memories one last time?
Or maybe it was something deeper, a search for meaning, a need to connect with their roots before this huge life change.
It's a question that resonates with all of us, I think. We've all had those times in life, moving to a new city, starting a new job. Those moments when we feel drawn to reconnect with familiar places, familiar faces.
Absolutely. It's like drawing strength from your roots before you leap into the unknown. And sometimes those journeys back to our beginnings, they can be just as transformative as any adventure to a far-off land.
I think you're right. Sometimes those familiar landscapes, they reveal something new when we see them with fresh eyes. But for now, we have to leave Mandy and Rob to their new adventures in Cyprus.
Leaving us to ponder our own adventures, the ones waiting in our own backyards, perhaps.
That's the thought, isn't it? Those familiar paths we walk every day. What hidden wonders have we yet to discover? Maybe it's time we all took a page from Mandy and Rob's book and embarked on our own journeys of rediscovery.
After all, you never know what you might find until you start exploring.
Truer words have never been spoken. Until next time, happy adventuring, everyone.
I do like flying where we never hide. Out
out on the highway chasing the tide.